I think we've got it though. Are we live? I think we're live. Who's here? Angie, Captain Chaos, Jenny. Let's see who else. Jeff, Chubby Hubby, Rufo. All right, like everyone is here. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. Angie, did I say Angie? Spot, right on. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let me move this screen around really quick so I can see the chats happening. Angie says, I'm just going to jump right in here. I've missed a whole bunch of the pre-chat here, but, and hi again, Captain Chaos. Yeah, he was doing a late night thing with me, and I had to delete my video because it went horribly wrong, and he hung in there for the whole thing and was a good sport about it. Angie says she loves the way that Rufo has to organize all of his stuff. Yeah, I wish that I could be better organized, especially with the space that I have. My space is so limited that things are just like stacked on top of things. But if you guys could see my desk right now, there's just rocks everywhere, because when I decided to do this, I was like, well, maybe I should have a few rocks ready for this episode that are fun to look at underneath the cross-polarized light. And then, you know, because some of them are duds. Some of them don't do anything under the cross-polarized light. And so I've got a pile of rocks here, and then pretty soon I was like, to heck with it. We'll look at some duds if it's fun for all of us. We'll keep looking, and who cares if there's some duds. All right. So, like I say, I did pick out some rocks. I do want to talk about that meteorite that we cut in that last episode, and why I used cross-polarized light to know that this was not a dual, and how I know that now. I learned something. And I don't like to get my meteorite science to be too deep for you guys, because we're a rock counting group. But it's something that I got into because of meteorites, because it's helpful when it comes to meteorites and identifying meteorites and seeing things that we don't see with the naked eye. But it's also fun to do to some of your earth rocks. So we'll get into some of these here in just a minute, and I'll explain to you what we're seeing and why we're seeing that. Cynthia popping in. Hey, Cynthia. Oh, Angie was saying that she literally had to go through and take some of her rocks out of her Tupperware and like put them into other things so that she could put the Tupperware back in the kitchen. When the kitchen things become the rock things and the rock things become the kitchen things, we all know how that goes. So I have a little homemade cross-polarized light device here, and I've made it kind of portable so that I could take this out rock hounding with me in the field. So it closes up so that no dirt gets in there, but also when I remove the top and look down in here, I don't get light contamination in there either. It's very dark down in there. And I built into this a little platform. So I can literally, if I'm out in the field and I'm rock hounding and I find what I think might be a meteorite, probably a meteor wrong, but might be a meteorite, I can put the sample on this platform. Now I've got my strings crossed here, hang on. I can put the sample on the platform, put the platform up inside the cross polarizer, and now the sample is in there and ready to go. So there is a light in here that's going to light our sample up. Of course, now it's fallen down in there, but when I'm looking in there, I can see it, right? And as we twist, this piece has a piece of polarizing film, and there's also a piece of polarizing film in there. And as we twist these polarizing films, that's what they call cross-polarized light. Sometimes the polarizers line up. When we twist the polarizing film. The polarizers are going to line up this one and the other one, and then as we twist it another, 90 degrees or whatever, now they'll be crossed, and that gives us a cross polarized light effect. So I'm going to shut this off for just a minute so we don't waste the battery, and I'm going to pull this out. And we're not going to use the platform, we're just going to put this right over the top of rocks and look. So let me explain really quickly what this is doing. Especially on a stone like this doesn't look phenomenal under the cross polarized light. I just want to point out how much reflection we see, light reflection, and it's pretty. Yay, it's pretty. But when we're looking at something like a meteorite, that light reflection can be really, it can drown out some of those details that we really want to see, need to see. So we're going to look at just a basic earth rock first, one that's polished and very shiny, and I want you to notice how this cross-polarized light device removes that light reflection. You'll see light reflection at the edge of this stone when we put it in there, and when I turn the polarizers, that reflection will disappear entirely. And so that is what this device is doing, is removing the light reflection from the piece and giving you what your eye would truly see if there wasn't a bunch of reflection bouncing off of that light back to your, or that piece back to your eye. So we're just removing the reflection, really. It's just a neat light trick where we remove the reflections and we're able to see some of the details better. Now I know this is not going to go greatly smooth. First of all, my foam keeps coming loose in here, my little foam ring. Hopefully that doesn't bother our vision too bad. I know this isn't going to be the greatest thing for focusing, and it's going to be kind of awkward, but I hope it's fun for us all to get a look at things, some of our rocks that we've never had a look at in this way. So again, we're going to start with this agate, and notice all of that crazy light reflecting back. Can I focus that better? Come on. What if I zoom it in a little bit? It's okay that it's out of focus for now. Light reflecting, 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 reflecting. And boom, just like magic, all that reflection is gone. Oh, and there's something dirty on my film. Oh, it's maybe a reflection on my phone. Okay, we will figure this out. Bear with me. Wonder, how could we lift that up just a bit? Huh. Those two things look about the same height. Let's try this really quick and see if we can get this better in focus. Okay, so now we have weird objects in the side, but it is a little better in focus. And I can also, we don't have to go up and down. I can just slide these samples in and out of here. So that's not terrible. Here's another polished rock. Again, turning the polarizers without messing up the phone is what's going to be hard. Here's what your eye sees with all of the light reflecting off of it. And just like magic, when the polarizers are crossed, all of that light reflection is gone. And we see a lot more of the detail in the rock. Still not focusing great. Of course, we are looking through two pieces of polarizing film as well. Let's see what next. This is a fun one. Let's see if I get it. Turn it back. This agate with all this druzy, micro druzy in the middle of it. This is what your eye sees. And oops, that's what your eye sees. Look at all the reflection on those crystals. And boom, we can almost like see into the crystals now. Gosh, everything is so out of focus. There. Now it's all wobbly though because I'm holding it. But how cool. Wonder if I have a tripod that I could rig up. Let me see about that really quick. I should have planned this better for you guys, but I didn't, because like Angie and I said right when we walked in, Chris is so organized and I wish I was. Let's see if we borrow Bear's box. Could we set a tripod on the top of Bear's box here? And get it to look down and not fall over? Let's see. Odin, could you turn that down just a smidge? Right there by that mirror. Thank you. I don't foresee that going real well. I'm not making that happen. So we'll just have to do our best here. Okay. I wish I could get it to focus better without having to be so far from everything. Like, we want that macro vision. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to put you back down there real quick. We'll switch rocks again. So I've got all kinds of really cool stuff to look at. Let's come back so that we get the surprise effect. So here in this piece, we can see all kinds of pyrites and reflective things. That's what we're seeing with our naked eye, and there's the polarized. Let's come all the way around. I've got a mark here. There, polars, cross polars. Nope. There, cross polars. Look how blue that blue pops. Really brings that out. Of course, we are getting some reflection off of the lens, like I say. But for a homemade light device, we're seeing that effect on camera. And like I say, all we're doing, I'm going to flip this over so we can see the other side too. All we're doing is taking away the reflection that your eye sees in the everyday world. So let's do this one more time because it's quite dramatic. Like, look how pale, white, and washed out it looks to your regular eye, to your naked eye. Sorry about that reflection right there. It is the edge of my phone. But yeah, pale and washed out, kind of white. And as soon as we hit that cross polars, boom, that blue pops. See if I can get it squished back there for you. As soon as we take away the reflection, it's more a true color. That's more truly what color that piece is. Boom. But our eyes soak up all that reflecting light and we see that instead. Let's put another one in there. Here's that little Montana Wonderstone that I cut. Here's what your eye sees. Oops, come on. Pull in the polarizer. It's so hard. This is so tricky. It's so hard to keep everything in focus and then pay attention to what's happening with the polarizer. Yeah, the farther away I get from that, the better focus we get. So there's your natural light. And there's your polarized light. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so shaky. What if I zoom out? Do we lose that shake? We do, but we still see out of focus. So there it is. Naked eye. And through the magic of the polarizer, there it is. Cross-polarized. I'm gonna set you guys there for just a second. Chubby Hubby says, just remember, if it doesn't work, just reverse the polarity in the flux capacitor. That usually fixes it. Yes, that's hilarious. I love that. Of course, I had to read it like it was an urgent announcement. And Angie says she's doing well. Thank you, Chubby Hubby. Jeff says that's pretty. Captain says nice agate. And Chubby Hubby says that's a super cool beans effect. Angie says she sees it working. I'm gonna grab another stone. This is that weird Sherman piece that I cut the other day, that ugly duckling looking piece. And that is with the polarizer. Here it is without. Here it is with. Here it is without. And there it is with. Yes, but for sure, if you haven't done the thing, you know, where you get up in the corner and you click the little gear and you make your resolution much nicer, then you'll probably be wishing you had done so. I'm going to do it one more time. Without what your naked eye sees. Boom, polarized. Yeah, Jenny. Like I say, this is a trick I learned from meteorites. I have some really cool stuff that we can keep looking at this if you guys can tolerate the shaky camera and the seasickness. I want to show you one more earth rock really quick first, and then we'll have a quick chat about the meteorite. Of course, you guys know what that is. And in this particular stone, we all know that the light reflection is what matters, really. It's what makes everything so pretty, right? So what happens? What do you guys think of that? I just took all the reflection out of that fire agate. Oh, I'm trying to zoom in. And it just thinks I'm trying to poke the chat. There we go. Now we see down inside that fire agate. Stuff you did not see with your naked eye before. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. There's with all the reflection. Look at all the blues and greens and everything come to life. Boom. Reflection eliminated. Looking down inside that stone. Turn that stone once. Look down in there. Isn't that wild? Okay, I'm going to do it again. Ready? All the reflection. Okay, Spot just said, is it worth trying the UV? There it is without. I honestly don't know. I'm going to set you down really quick while we visit. I honestly don't know if you could do this with UV. Ugh, the focus is atrocious. The focus is atrocious. If it's atrocious and you know it, clap your hands. If it's atrocious and you know it, clap your hands. Okay. Because this is a light trick that we're doing, I actually have, this is a ring light that I've put in here. And so when I go to shut this ring light off, it circulates through, 3 different color rings before it shuts off. The way that this is working is, like I say, the ring light is passing through a polarizing filter. So that is polarized light that we are seeing on that stone right now, which is no big deal. You wear polarizing glasses when you go fishing and all of those things, right? No big deal. We see the world through polarized light from time to time. Our photo editing apps oftentimes will have a polarizing option on them. Yeah, but once I put this polarizing ring through things as well, so now the polarized light is bouncing off of the stone. It's coming from this ring light down to the stone and bouncing off. It has to come back up through here and through this polarizing film. When they're aligned, it's still just polarized light. But when we cross them, that's when we get a cross polarized light effect. And so I don't know if a UV light, if you can do that with a UV light, or if a UV will do anything to the polarizing light. We may try it here at the end. I don't see my UV light right offhand. It might be in the kitchen, but we may try that at the end just to see what happens. All right, let's see if we can scoot him out of there without tipping over the tower that I've built here for this thing. So I mentioned that, again, this is a technique that comes from my meteorite background, okay? This is a technique that we use in meteorites a lot when we're looking at thin sections and when we're looking at meteorites. So here's what this meteorite that I cut the other day looks like with your naked eye. I'm going to lift it up so you can see it in focus, but I'm going to leave it here so I can handle it for just a second. So we can see all that shining metal down in the bottom of this slice. There's some up in the top, but it just doesn't look evenly distributed. Let me turn you around real quick so I can talk at you. So I was hanging out on one of my meteorite things the other day, and they were talking about meteorites that are way out of my budget. Yeah, at the end of this, thank goodness, Captain, that was horrible. So I was visiting with one of my meteorite friends in one of the chats in one of the meteorite events, and they were talking about these extravagant meteorites that I can't afford to have in my collection, but I sure do like to look at. And he's popping off in the chats with, they're talking about how this particular meteorite has 4 different lithologies in it. And he's like, oh, so it would be a monomict breccia or a genomict meteorite. And I'm like, listen to you using all your fancy, and he's right. But those weren't terms that I could just bring up out of the blue and just toss out into conversation, right? So I'm like, hey, man, I need your help with this meteorite I just cut the other day. It might look like a dual, like kind of does. And so I shared some actual pictures that, our naked eye see with my friend. And he was like, ooh, I think you might be right. That might be a dual. And he says, the way to tell is to look at it under cross-polarized light and look at the chondral distribution throughout that. Like, okay, the metal, we see that, but look at the chondrals, like. And then I had to give him some crap because he started talking about counting chondrals. And I was like, are you kidding me? Do you sit around and count chondrals? And he's like, you don't have to count them. You can kind of guesstimate. He's like, I mean, I have counted on a, like if I want to classify something, then I count the chondrals. He's like, but if I'm just for my own personal enjoyment, you just kind of guesstimate. Like, it looks like there's probably, 100 chondrals per centimeter here. I know, nerd. Versus like 50 chondrals per centimeter here. So if you can see a distinct chondral distribution change throughout that stone, then you have a dual. if you don't, if like this one, I thought the metal was, you know, and then like it looks lighter where the metal is and it darker on the other side. So I send him some, I'm like, I've got this cool like homemade cross polarized light thing. So let me just take a picture of it under cross polarized and send it to you. And he's like, he's calling me a nerd now. You nerd. So I sent a picture and he felt like he felt awful. He was like, I'm so sorry. I thought when I looked at it before that it was a dual, but now that I look at it again, I really don't think it is. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Okay, don't be sorry. I still love this meteorite and I still have things to look forward to. So maybe I will cut a dual in the future. But I learned something that I've probably been told 1,000 times in the meteorite community, and it just never clicked until I had my own meteorite under cross polarized light in front of me looking at the chondral distribution. So when I looked at it the first time to send him the picture, yeah, bye Chris, have a great day at work, I was like, I can't tell. They all look the same to me, which exactly, it looks the same all the way throughout. So let's turn you back around and let's have a look at this meteorite that I cut the other day and the chondral distribution throughout this stone. You'll see that it's fairly evenly distributed. Some of it's got like tiny little chondrals here and there, and then there's some bigger stuff. But if you measured it centimeter by centimeter by centimeter by centimeter, they're pretty evenly distributed. So let's turn around and have a look. So like I say, that's how I know that this is a weathering effect in this stone. Probably the part that has the shiny visible metal was probably sitting on the ground and maybe even under a little bit of the sitting in like the sand just a little bit, where the rest of this was probably up above the surface. And what was shiny visible nickel iron, you know, hundreds of years ago when this meteorite fell, has terrestrialized into something that is more like hematite. So not as shiny and not as magnetic and, you know, more brown to your eye. So anyway, enough talk. Like I said, I try to not get too sciencey because sometimes the science is too much, but I got a kick out of that. Here's how you use your cross polarized light to learn more about your meteorites rather than just, isn't this cool? Look at it, take the reflection away, and look what it does to our rocks. So, all right, we're going back around now and we're gonna do the thing. So there's the meteorite that we cut. We see it with our naked eye. Like I say, most of the shiny metal is concentrated down here. You'll see all these weathering and contraction cracks through it too, and that's the way that moisture is entering this stone and weathering it. But, John, what we are doing is looking at some earth rocks. This is a meteorite at this very moment in time, but I plan on putting some dino bone and some crazy lace and some turritilla and stuff under this. But this is a homemade cross polarized light device. What it does is removes the light reflection that your eye sees, and so you see things in more their true color, what your eye doesn't see, but what is more reality. If that messes with your perception, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's what your eye sees. See if I can zoom you in a little bit. We see some pretty chondrals in here. Chat's right in the way. See if I can move it. I almost blocked Chubby Hubby on accident. Holy moly, I gotta watch what I'm doing. Okay, we see a cute chondral, this like blue-gray color thing here, and we see some, like I say, some metal down there. Okay, here we go. Here's what your eye sees. And then there's what we see under cross-polarized light. Oh, I shake so bad. Wish we could get all this in focus without me holding it. It focuses better, though, when it's like an inch off the top of there. Excuse me with my sniff. So as we see under the cross, which eliminates a lot of that shiny metal that you see, the reflection of it, it's still there. We're just seeing it differently than we do with our naked eye. But we also see, with the lack of reflection of light off there, we see that those chondrals are pretty evenly distributed, even though the bottom of that meteorite is like a lighter color than the top. Like I say, probably what caused that is that this bit of this meteorite was in the sand, buried up in the sand, and yes, a lot of people do use polarization and tricks in their photography. Yes, you're right, John. This, you know, water, fog, mist, mildew, whatever, has gotten down into these cracks and precipitated through this stone and changed what used to be this lighter colored material into this darker colored material via the rusting and weathering and terrestrialization of that metal into hematite. No nerd like a homemade nerd, says Spot. So again, here's what your eye sees. You see these little chondrules in here, but you really can't get a grasp for how many there are per square centimeter. When you turn the polarizer, whoops, I went past, you can much better count some of those things that are happening in there per square centimeter. We do, because again, this doesn't, Angie says we need more homemade nerds who love rocks, because this doesn't just apply to meteorites. This works with some of our earth rocks too, and it's fascinating to see them in a little bit different light, all pun intended, than we can without. Let's see, what about the turritella? Here's what your eye sees. Kind of that flat, dull, you know, one surface. And here's with the cross. You can, you can almost like see into things. Like you're removing that surface reflection. And now you can see down deep inside where you couldn't see before. I'm going to do it one more time. Here's your naked eye view. Here's your cross-polarized view. It really just sharpens some of those things that you just don't see with your eye. Just sharpens them and brings them to the foreground. Let's see. What about this crazy lace? Regular. Oh, it barely fits under my little janky stand, and I kind of want to see the busy part. Well, let's look at that part. That's pretty too. Here's what your eye sees. Cross polar. Look at it make that red in the bottom frame pop. Regular. Cross polar. I'm going to leave you guys sit there for just a second, if I can, without you falling off this janky little tripod I'm trying to build. What if I turn you around the other way so that the weight of the phone pulls the other way? It's not good. Okay, right there. Yeah, better with frame 1 or frame 2. Exactly, chubby hubby. I brewed a cup of coffee before I started this live. If you guys would excuse me for just a moment while I go fill my cup up. If your cup needs a refill, now would be a good time. And we'll look at a few more things when I get right back. I don't know where my cup went. Did you get Wi-Fi and everything you need?
Yeah, I've been signed on to it ever since...
Forever ago?
Forever.
Okay. Good. Okay. So if you want to get really nerdy, by the way, the polarizing lenses that go into microscopes are often called nickels back in the day. And so you'll sometimes hear this referred to as cross nickels or cross nickel, just so you guys are aware of that. And an extra nerdy thing to put a wrinkle on your brain today. You learned something that you didn't want or need to know today. There it is under polarized light. There's what your eye sees. Let's see. Where is polars? There they are. So stinking pretty. That rock is pretty anyway. I don't think it would matter if you were looking at it. Oops, we did the turritella. Let's move on. And let's twist her back a little. Here's what your eye sees. Here's some Dynabone. Will it be cool? I honestly don't know. Here's what your eye sees. And there's a polarizer view. Actually does bring out some of the details in there. I do have the cross marked on my device, Jenny, but I also have the lines lined up marked on there too for some dumb reason. And so when I think I've gotten to a cross line, sometimes it's actually the opposite of that. It's to line it up. So there's what your eye sees. And according to my mark on my thing, Jenny, there's what cross-polarized. Hey, rockin' in Kentucky. Hey, Andrew. There's the bear, too. Yeah, you see the little marks on there? To tell me where. I've got another piece here. Let's go ahead and put it in. Let's twist it back so we don't blow the surprise. 'Cause it's like magic to take what your eye sees. Oh, I bet these reds and oranges in this are gonna come flying out of here. Here's what your eye sees. And swing her on around. Sorry, it's so far away. I can't find one. There it is. Ready? Cross-polarized. Let's do it again real quick. There's what your eye sees. And there's the cross-polar. Not the most extreme example I've ever seen, but again, you really do... Wow, look at that bit down there. I bet it doesn't look like that under regular light. Let's look. No, look at how much of that detail we lose with the reflection that our eye sees. Ready? Here it comes. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I could look at that all day. So yeah, just in case you're popping in and missing this, this is a homemade cross-polarized light machine. There's a ring light inside of it and two polarizing films. And what that does is takes the reflection that your eye sees and eliminates it and shows you the color that you're missing because it's reflecting light into your eye. So when we take that reflection away, we see the color that we're missing. So there it is, reflecting all the light back to our eye. We eliminate that reflection and we see so many better detail. If my thing would focus and I wouldn't shake, we would anyways. So let me set you down real quick. Let's see what else I've got to look at. I've got just a box of slabs here. Anybody got any special requests, things that they would like to try? If I have a piece of it, we'll try it. Definitely agates. Okay. We can do some agates for sure. I got some pretty stuff here. Okay, let's check some of those out. Some labradorite. I actually don't have any labradorites. Oops. Like the closest thing I have really would probably be that fire agate that I did. Just because, and maybe this piece, just because labradorite is such a reflective material, like what makes it so pretty is the light trick that it's doing. You know, same thing with this this fire agate. What makes it so beautiful is all that light reflection. I let that light come in and we see all the green. I want to turn it because the ring light's actually really quite offensive on it. We see all the yellows and greens. Ooh, it's so slick. All of the color in that, right? And then, you know, like, let's look at the blue one next to it really quick. It's kind of a pale blue, but we see all of the, like, pyrites reflecting. There's some, like, you know, pyrite right there. And we see all, like, the feldspar reflections or whatever's happening in it. So what makes labradorite and, for example, fire agate so pretty is that light play, that reflective play that's happening between the rock and your eye. And when you take that away, watch that fire agate. Now you just like see down deep inside the stone. All of that reflective color is gone. But look at what it did to that blue too. It made that blue so absolutely vibrant. It took away all the reflections from the pyrites and things. They're still there. We still see them. They're just not reflecting all that light back up at our eye anymore. So again, here's what your eye sees with all the light reflecting. And under the cross polar, we look deep down into that agate. Takes away all that color play. But now you see past that reflective top surface down inside. Yes, I did make this for my meteorite spare. But it's so cool with earth rocks too that I can't not check things out. Actually, can I hold that for you guys? Get rid of some of the reflection. Oh, now I have to get even farther away. Like I say, it's removing all that reflection we usually get off the very dome of this stone. And now let's take the polarizers away and look at it again. Now we see the dome reflecting the white light at us, but we also see all of those little pillars down inside reflecting all their blues and greens. And would it work on calcite? Don't know. I wondered if I should check. I'm having a hard time finding a line, and then there's the polarizer again. I wondered if I should check some things like, you know, calcite, pyrite, things that are shiny. The shinier they are, the more light they're reflecting. I'm just going to set you there. More light they're reflecting at your eye, the more of a trick it's going to do when you remove that reflective light. So I wondered about some funner things. I think one of our requests was agates. There's kind of a fancy piece. And there it is with the cross. And I was watching the line, so I didn't see if anything happened. So we're going to do, as Chubby Hubby says, frame 1 or frame 2. Frame 1 or frame 2. I say 2, please. It didn't make a huge difference, but I think that it helped to pop some of those little details. A flashy feldspar. Sure, we'll look at a flashy feldspar. I actually have lots and lots of flashy feldspar, so sure, absolutely. Holy moly, what is this even? I don't even know what this is. This might be dino bone. It might be some kind of weird fancy agate. I don't even know. It doesn't really fit under the thing, so we're just going to look at the corner of it. Oh, okay. There's what it looks like. Natural light. There's the cross. It's beautiful. What is that, you guys? Natural light. Cross. Natural light. Oh, cross. I don't even know what that is, you guys. That is an auction slab from the Canadian auction. Is it a plume? It's beautiful. I'm going to do it one more time now that I turned it around. Here's what your eye sees. There's the cross polarized. Let's have another one. Keep them coming. That's a crossed view. There's what your eye sees. There's your crossed view. John said better saturation and detail, especially for picture taking and things like that. Absolutely. However, I've always refrained from using this to take pictures because this is not what your eye sees and how many people have one of these at their house. So it takes up a way better picture. You see much more of the detail in things. But I don't do that. I don't take pictures with my cross polarizer. Although, okay, there's what your eye sees. Although I've been tempted before because there's a cross polarized view. I'm going to set that down just for a second while I get a little more comfortable. Especially when it comes to photographing jewelry. When I photograph my jewelry, I see every teeny tiny little scratch, nick, mar on every piece of wire, and it just, oh my gosh, the photos accent every little detail that you don't want somebody to notice. And if you photograph your jewelry under cross-polarized light, it just takes all that reflection away and it makes the stone look that much more detailed and vibrant, but it's false advertising, so... I'm glad to hear that, John. John just said that he's got to be honest. He's never considered using polarizing filters on rocks, but seeing this effect has got his mind whirling with new ideas. Angie says her too, and she agrees totally. This rock is cool. Let's see. I want to get I'm going to just pick you up and move you. Oh my goodness, that works really good. Okay, let's see if I can run the polarizers. Without cross. Oh, what is happening? Sorry, guys. Without cross. And... sorry, it's hard to run the phone and twist that thing at the same time. There it is with cross polarized light. Look at all the detail that came out. You could see little spots in there. Yeah, so what did I title my video today? Now I gotta set this back on this two things I've got here. What is cross-polarized light and why is it cool? Or did I leave that part out and just put it in the description? Yeah, why is it cool? Why does it matter? Why should you guys care? This worked before, let's keep it working now. Okay, because it is kind of like seeing your world through a different view, you know, a different window, a different light, you know, all pun intended. There's what your eye sees. Neat little agate. Or, I don't know, crazy lace. Or do you even cross-polarize, bro? Then taking pics under, yeah, agree. I suppose if I disclosed that I was taking my pictures with cross-polarized light, it's not natural or not real light. It's just not how your eye sees things. So here it is uncrossed. There it is crossed. One more time. Uncrossed. Crossed. That one didn't do a lot. What's next? We get the cross-polar view first. Ooh, that red down there is real pretty. Here we go. Uncrossed. It's just so flat. You know, we see that surface because the light's reflecting off the surface. That's really the only deeper we can see with our eye. We take that light reflection away and we can see inside that stone, beyond the surface. Rufo, we may or may not still be chilling here, geeking out with the cross-polarized light tube thing, toy. So without, the red is there, it's just not as pretty. The plume up at the top is there, it's just not as vibrant and deep. We get it under that cross, the red pops, the plume gets deep. From the mine near me, we could check that out, sure. Angie, you betcha. Let's throw this one under here. Here's what your eye sees. The one the guy gave you and I fell in love with. Yeah. There it is with crossed. Uncrossed. It all just gets muddled and mixed. Crossed. Boom. So much detail. I mean, we still see the saw marks and all the imperfections and things in that stone. It's so pretty down here. But we see the definition between the white and the brown and the red, and it's so mossy and pretty, isn't it? If I had some opal, I'd put it under there. I have some common opal. Excuse me. I have some common opal that I find locally. We'll pop it under just because it's handy. Here's what your eye sees. All that reflection. And we bring the polarizer around. Wow, there's actually still a lot of reflection on that piece for it being polarized. Probably because we're getting a lot of light pollution from outside the... But yeah, there's a piece of common opal. If there was some color play in there, it would probably be more interesting to look at. But there's not. I don't have any colorful opal. My mama loves her opal, but it's not something that I even have in a piece of jewelry. Chris's rooster tail cab under there. Right now, Jenny's speaking our language. She's like, it's so transparent and so glossy, juicy. I'd love to see what happens when you take that surface shine away and can actually see down into this piece. Let's see. Okay, well, these pieces of the platinum ore that I just pulled out of here are not finished, but they're what I had handy. I thought I had a cab handy. I thought I had a whole tub of cabs handy, actually, and I just, they're not right where I thought they were, but these were. So we'll look at these really quick. I hope that that'll get Angie fixed here. Okay. All that beautiful gold pyrite in there. And that ultramafic gabbro, black gabbro. There's even a little bit of some green in there from time to time. Would you do it yourself and sell one of these? Boy, I don't know. I'm a lot busy right now, but maybe in the future. Okay, and there it is with cross. So we still see all the pyrites. Would it work better if it was wet? We'll find a polished cab for you, Angie. But now again, we see a lot better that definition between the black and the white. We see a lot of that lacy stuff that I imagine some of that would pop if I cabbed it. Let's see. Let me find the cabs. I think they're just right here. They're just buried. Here, let's put this under here too while we're waiting. All right, give me a second and we'll get that focused. And in the meantime, let me get Angie's favorite cab even. And we'll look at those under there too. I don't know if they're going to do a whole lot more than the rough pieces did, but we'll look. And what else did we have a request for? Oh, a piece of moonstone or feldspar, whichever you prefer to call it. Feldspar is probably a lot more accurate, but okay. So I put this piece of calcite under here. There it is in all its glory as your eye sees it. See if anything happens. Where's the line? Here it comes. And there it is under cross. Did anything happen? Not really. Like maybe the aragonite banding underneath that calcite got a little more orange looking, but no, not really. That was pretty boring. Again, they're not all winners under the cross polar. Sometimes it really doesn't do a whole lot. But sometimes it's like, holy moly, knock your socks off. Just a whole new world. Okay. This beautiful piece is the one I think that Angie loves, loves, loves because of that super reflective face that I left on there, that broken face. Okay, here's what your eye sees. Again, we see all that. Ooh, I can't reach it. See all of that surface reflection? What question did I answer? Oh, with the calcite. Okay, so there it is with here's what your eye sees with all of that surface reflection. And we remove that surface reflection and here's what you see. See a little bit of that green up in the white. We see the white. And the green contrast a lot better without all that fighting for balance with the exposure there. Bringing it all the way back around. There it is. Like I say, just we really see some of that Sure, but that's the neat trick about this tool is that it sees past that glare. It takes that glare away. Like, let's just test it real quick. Let's see what happens when we wet something. I've never seen that happen. You guys are saying that the comments go away and are like eaten and missing. Just a second. Where did I put the Tupperware that these go in? I don't know. We'll set them right there for now. Put the lid on this one. Okay. Give me a second to keep my stuff as organized as I do keep it. Okay, let's see if we wet something, if it does. Another. Bleh. Okay, thoughts, words, holy cow. Gotcha. Another thing that this is really cool for with meteorites is that it allows us to see through the desert varnish. That shiny outer crust, like, you know, when rocks get wind polished and they get really shiny, and, you know, that happens here on the prairie, or river tumbled and they get shiny. The same thing, what we call desert varnish, that's basically like a sandblasted meteorite. So it's been sandblasted for so long that it's got smooth, and in its being smooth, it's gotten shiny. And so you can see past that desert varnish and see the chondrules and things that are inside the meteorite with cross-polarized light. So here is this rock. Okay, here it is with your naked eye, kind of bland. And we bring it back around to cross. Now we see all that vibrant detail that we didn't see before. And while it's setting right there, let's just pop some water on it. Maybe. Ooh, there. I'll smear it in a little for you guys even. I couldn't see less of a difference if I was perfectly honest with you. So here's what you see with your naked eye. You can tell I wet it. It's very much more reflective. And again, under the cross, we take away that reflection. So that was a neat experiment, guys. Actually, that was kind of cool. There it is, wet. Boom, taking that surface reflection away. What your eye sees without all of that light bouncing off of this piece back to your eye. Again, there it is, wet. We're getting all that reflection. Whoops. Coming back, taking all that reflection away. There's your cross-polarized light view. So that was a cool experiment. We answered that question as well, Andrew. Or Chaos. Chaos, we answered that question as well. Anybody else got any good ideas? Okay, Rufo, thanks for hanging in. I did see your video the other day of all your What Have I Been Up To video, and I started working, but I also started watching, but I also had to go to work, so I do plan on getting back around to that soon. I can't wait to watch. It looks like a good one. I did read some of the comments, too, while I watched the very intro, and everybody had good comments on Rufo's video, too. So, what the heck else were we going to look at? I feel like we had maybe one or two more requests. Fossil coral. Sure, let's grab one. Oh, and a feldspar. That's right. We'll do this first because I got it. Okay. Back to your eye view. Here's your meager human eye capability. Let's look at this little guy. Here's a little ammonite, and he's got a little like a little pyrite pocket in him there. Is it pyrite or is it? Let me look really quick. No, it's just like shiny quartzy crystals. So there's what your eyeball sees. Let's lift the whole dang thing up. And here come the cross. Ready? There it is, cross. One more time. Eye. Cross. I'm not seeing a huge difference in that. Let's have a look at the coral though really quick. He's so big, we gotta lift this up. Here's what your eye sees. Here's the cross. Again, not a huge lot of difference there. There isn't a lot of light reflecting on that anyway, so you're almost seeing it just as is anyway with your naked eye. But sometimes it'll bring out contrasts in things that you didn't see before that are really cool. So that was worth a try too. Let me go grab a feldspar, a quartz crystal. What a smoky. Do I have a smoky that would fit? I probably do. We should look at a couple more fire agates too, because that's really kind of cool. Petwood. We will look at a petwood. This petwood's too big to fit under the thing. Here it is. Regular light. And ready, set, polarize. Look at one spot. Ready? Regular light, kind of flat and dull. Polarize. So there was quite a bit of detail brought out in that. All right. I'm headed for a feldspar. And Spot just is stuck on the UV thing today. Let me grab my UV light while I'm in there. Yes. So feldspar, some smokies or some quartz if I can find them on the way. And the UV light. I'll be right back. Oh, and by the way, just for funsies, excuse me, a plastic fork or a plastic spoon is really kind of like the magic sauce for cross-polarized light. And I swear I've got one somewhere around here, but I couldn't find it. Let me, while I go, I want to let you guys have a good look at this. I found this dirty old plastic lid that, I threw you on the ground too, I'm sorry. This dirty old plastic lid. Sorry. God, that was horrible. That probably was used for a plant or something. Here. So here is plastic with your naked eye. Look at that ring light reflect off of that plastic. Here is plastic under the cross polars, and it brings out all these really wild rainbows. It makes ordinary plastic look so amazing. A plastic fork is just the craziest. All those little stretchy, bendy pieces in plastic just light up like rainbows. I want to leave you guys looking at that while I go. I'm sorry, Roof, I didn't mean to hurt you guys. I'm going to try to leave you guys looking at this weird plastic rainbow while I go fetch the, now I'm hurting the rocks. I'm trying to build a stack of slabs to get you over this rainbowy corner and not tip you over. That's the best I can do for now. Sorry, it's not as beautifully rainbow. Oh, there. Boom. Okay, I'll be right back. Montana agate, look for iris. Okay, let's see. I don't necessarily have any good iris pieces, but we will look at one more agate that I polished the other day. I will grab an obsidian piece while I'm in the kitchen as well. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a list. Hopefully I remember everything. I'll be right back. Consider this your intermission. If you need a bio break or a refill on your drink, do so. You okay? Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, there's a feldspar. Let's see. Do you remember what else I said, Odin?
Oh, what?
Do you remember everything I was coming in here for?
No.
Okay, feldspar, UV light. Crystals, if we have any crystals. Oh, obsidian and agate were also requested. Let's grab that little guy. Let's grab this guy. Quartz crystal. Let's look at that too, because it's really effed up. Oh, and some more fire agate. All right. I only got about half of what I was after, and I forgot my coffee cup. So just a second. We've got feldspar, obsidian, agate, some really super weird, like, local rock that I found that we'll look at. And I'm going to head back over for some quartz. Is Chris having a day? And I should check the comments, too, because I have neglected that terribly today. Off topic, but does anybody know where I hid my new X-Acto blades? They're definitely right where you left them and probably in the last place you look for them. Okay. Oh, look. Here they aren't. I'll be right back, guys. Let's have this. Okay. Did I get everything I was after? I don't think I did, but I got some other stuff too, so hopefully that'll kind of make up for it. Real quick too, before I get set down here, let me put these two fossils back up in the window that I pulled down. All right. Drop these slabs over here too. Because we looked at those, they were fun. Okay. Okie dokie, so the plastic, that's kind of cool. I don't know why that thrills me like it does, but it does. Oh. Okay, so some of this stuff that I grabbed, I'm going to admit to you guys this was on the TV stand and it is beyond dusty dirty, but let's look at it. Okay, let's prop us back up between the two of these things, like we've been doing the whole show, because that's been okay. It's been a good start anyway. Oh, yeah. Amethyst. And there it is under cross. It's still shiny, and it didn't do a lot. Okay, moving on. So we tried that. Somebody said, is that an ack or a... Did I read that wrong? Here is some kind of a copper byproduct, or maybe even a man-made thing that my kid has in his collection. There it is, what your eye sees with all the reflection on all those little weird crystals. We bring it back to the cross. And it just really eliminated the reflection, that's all. There wasn't a lot to see in that one either. But we did it. And like I said, I grabbed just kind of an assortment, a weird random assortment of stuff off the TV stand when I was over there. I'm going to bring it back really quick. Yeah, it might be lab grown something. He liked it. He knew it wasn't necessarily a natural material, but he liked it, so he added it to his collection. I'm going to regret that I dumped every friggin' one of those out here in about 2 seconds when I have to pick them up and put them back in here. But there's a bunch of tourmalines and things. And that's what your eye sees. And here come the cross. There's the cross. One more time. There's what your eye sees. There's with the cross. It's not even terribly exciting. I'm gonna have to put you down for a second. Scoop those up. And it's lunch break, so here are the kids being noisy. Oh my gosh, that one is just pencil thin. Holy cow. Can't believe I didn't just crush that. Hey, Trev. Huh? Will you come tell us about robotics when you get done eating your lunch? Okay. Thank you. And one more thing that my kid purchased. Let me get my fingerprints off of it really quick. If I can. Well, that didn't work very great, but again, this is an artificial thing. This is not man-made. Or not man-made. Okay, let's try that again. Again, the words today. Wow. Struggling. There's what your eye sees. And you guys maybe even know what this is, but this is, what? Is it a quartz that's been dipped? Ooh, I almost dropped you again. Or electroplated or something. There's what your eye sees. Let's have a look at some of that banding and stuff though with the polarizer here. Not a lot. I'm kind of surprised. It's still. You've done your taxes. That's what I just said too, Trev. Let's do your taxes before you move. We've got a guest with us today. My kid's friend is here. We always like when Odin stops by. He's a good kid. So he's all done with school and been working a job, getting a taste of real life, and here he is. He's like, I'm gonna hang out for a few days before I head back home. So we've got a little house guest staying with us. Here's your quartz. I was kind of hoping I could get us a better view of the focus today, though. We're gonna fight this the whole way. Here's what your eye sees.
When are you going? You plan on it, I guess, in 3 weeks.
So there's quite a bit of reflection, and I was hoping that some of this orange might kind of be interesting to look at. Oof, there we go. Okay, there's what your eye sees. And there's the cross. Not a whole heck of a lot of difference. Let's try it one more time just to be sure. Here's what your eye sees. There's the cross. You could have fooled me. You could have said I never even turned that cross polarizer. And back up on the prop.
And install NFC tasks on your phone. I'm gonna do something.
And
My phone just died.
Oh.
It's at like 2%.
let's see, we had a request for
Okay, that's what I was saying. I was like, hey, no.
Is there an available outlet out here?
I don't know. It's very picky chart.
Here. Come. I'll show you where.
we had a request for some obsidian. The light died, I think. Did I push the button though, or did it die? We might get one more second out of this, maybe. There's with the, what your eye sees, and there's your cross. What your eye sees, and with the cross. So, not a lot of difference. It did take that shine away, but that's an absolutely stunning piece of obsidian. Where this is the better light for this, not down that tube. But you gotta try it. You gotta try to find out, right? Here's your Montana agate. That is under cross. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Here's what your eye sees.
Is the wireless charger out here?
There is, I just saw it on the coffee table, sweetie. There's your cross polarized view. Yeah, it died again. Now we've got nothing but a black tube down there. Oh, it's on. I lied. Okay, ready? Here come the cross. Boom. Oh my goodness, the definition in those lines. And it brings that yellow and that blue out. Oh my goodness. My gosh, that's gorgeous. Okay, obsidian and agate. And yeah, it just puked again, so we might get one more quick run out of it. Let me pop this piece of fire agate under here and see if we can get one more. The cross polarized, it's lined up right now. Excuse me.
Is that so?
So let's just leave it there too, because we know what fire obsidian or fire agate looks like
Would you like a sandwich?
when it's shiny and we can see the reflections. But let's see it now. These are like reject pieces too. These aren't even all. There's a piece of like jasper or something. It's actually prettier when the light reflects off of it. Oh, it puked again. Okay, that's it. That's all the light power she's got today. So yeah, I hope that I'm gonna set you down just a second while I get my tripod lined up a little better here. I hope that helps you guys be just a little bit smarter. When somebody says that they're looking at something under cross-polarized light, it's usually done with a microscope or a camera. But you can craft your very own at-home cross-polarized toy and use it for your own entertainment. Not just scientific use. It's not just for science nerds. It's for rock hounds too. So I'm glad we got to look at some of that stuff. I hope that my kid has just a second to come and tell you guys about their robotics tournament. Trev! I think he's hooking our house guest up with a phone charger, which was nice of him. I got to visit with him for maybe, I don't know, an hour before I started my live, and then I was just like, yeah, fend for yourself, good luck. I'm going live. Ooh, we forgot to look at the dang feldspar. Oh, and I got a good chunk of feldspar here too. Look at how neat that is. Bummer. Can you come tell us about robotics really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Can you sit right here and tell us, or are you too tall to sit?
What am I doing?
Well, tell us what robot you built and how you guys got picked, and
So it's
scoot up so we can see your...
it's a national-wide robotics competition with a variety of objectives that the robot kind of completes.
So a lot of the objectives revolve around the picking up and placing of this little plastic pixel, or the launching of a paper airplane at an exact distance, which is really hard to do. Having your robot hang by the end of the round. And so there was a lot of challenges regarding that, considering our robot weighed like 30 pounds by the end of it, even though it's like this big. But after all that work and all that commitment that we kind of did, we ended up placing first in the state, which is very cool. We beat all the rich kids. We beat all the pay-to-win kids. We beat all the. Oh, Mom's grabbing the medal. We beat all the veterans. We beat all of them. We're better. We're better. I don't know what to tell you.
Better teams. And this was your rookie year. This
is our first year doing robotics in the school's
robotic
history.
Team.
If is it just mirrored for me, or is it?
No, it's only mirrored for you. It's right for
first
them.
Tech Challenge, winning alliance. Heck yeah, we got to take home a trophy, and so we were like the whole time we were like, we would be so happy if we got like 9th place or something, and then we ended up doing that, and so that was really cool.
That is really cool. Mm-hmm. Really cool.
That's that.
Awesome. Thank you, son. They are all saying that's cool and congratulations. Bake him some cookies.
Bake me some cookies.
You're talking that boy's language now. Oh, he'd be happy though with like food. He'd be like, yeah, if you make me some meat and potatoes, be happy. Yes, I'm very proud. I'm gonna be for real. Like, they were gone a lot. They would work from right after school until cookies until 8 or 9 o'clock at night sometimes. Except for the shrunken head. I got to tell you guys about the shrunken head here in just a second too. So I mean, he would literally like come home from robotics at night and be like, "I'm starving." And we were leaving dinner out for him, and he would eat and then go take a shower, retreat to his room, and maybe do some electronic stuff, on his phone or something for maybe an hour or two, and then go to sleep. Like, I really wasn't seeing him. He was eating, sleeping, and breathing robotics there for a minute. So for them to come home with a trophy and to be recognized for their work was really cool. There was one night, and he's not just in robotics either. He's in speech and debate, and he does really, really good in speech and debate too. So I thought one night, like this, it's so bad. Like, I just don't see him, and he's coming and going so much that like one night, it was like probably 9:30 at night finally, and I was like, where is your brother? Is he going to eat dinner? Like, where is he? And my youngest son was like, he's out of town, like overnight trip for speech and debate tonight. And I was like, oh my God, that's right. But it just was so used to him coming home at like 9 o'clock at night that at like 9:20, I was finally like, where's he at? By the way, and thank you, Rufo, for that super chat. That was very nice of you. So for them to get there and to come home with some medals and trophies and things, that kind of made it all worthwhile to not see him for a minute. So the shrunken head. So there's 15 kids in our senior grade, our senior class, the entire grade, the entire class, 15 kids. And so they're a pretty close-knit bunch, they're like family, I mean, they're as close as probably, or maybe even closer than some of us were with like our cousins growing up and stuff. Like, they're a tight bunch. And because of that, like, us parents are very close with each other as well. We've been all the parent-teacher conferences, all the concerts, all the games, all the things that these kids have done. We've all been there together. So one of these kids is in the robotics team. His mom comes into my work the other day, and she's like, she weighs like maybe 80 pounds, soaking wet. She's super tiny, and because she's so tiny, she's got kind of a funny voice, and I can't help but tell this story like in my Janice voice. So she says, oh my God, I walked in my kitchen the other day and I was looking, and there's like this tiny little head on the counter, and I bent down and I got like a real good look at it, and I was like, oh my God, that looks just like Trevin. And her son says, that's because it is Trevin. We 3D scanned his whole head, and then we 3D printed it. And then so there was a tiny shrunken head. Like, You guys, there's the joys of raising kids in 2024 is that you're apt to walk into your kitchen to a tiny little shrunken head that looks just like your kid's friend for no reason. Like, could they have been working on the robot instead of scanning my kid's head? Yeah, probably. But all work and no play would make them boring boys, too. So I want a tiny shrunken head, by the way, that looks just like you. Yeah.
Austin made me, but with like really big butt chin. He likes to make fun of my butt chin, so I got a really big butt chin.
That's cool, too.
Actually, you give me a big old beard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know these kids are capable. They should build me some PrairieGirlRocks bobbleheads. Could you imagine? They'd put a bass in my hand and make me a bobblehead. All right, crap just got way weird. That was my feel-good story for today, by the way, was the shrunken head on my friend's counter that looked just like my kid. And the robotics team. Heck yeah, that was also my feel-good story today. So I didn't start with a feel-good story and end with a feel-good story, but I ended with 2 feel-good stories instead. So hopefully that it was enough to get you guys smiling and enjoying your Wednesday. You know, there's a lot going on in the rock world. I know that some people are going through some hard times, and so I believe that, you know, laughter is really the best medicine. So I'm glad that we could laugh together a little bit this afternoon. And I'm glad I could blow your guys' minds with the real color of your rocks when you're not seeing all that white light reflecting off of them, how beautiful they are. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Captain, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you guys all, Rufo, Ken, Spot, John, Bear. Yeah, get them boys some cookies. Yeah, for sure. I gotta make some cookies anyway because the band borrowed Danny's trailer and he won't accept any kind of payment for letting us borrow his trailer. I was like, I said to the guitar player, I was like, I'll bake him some cookies or something. Nobody would ever say no to a plate of cookies. And he's like, that's a good idea. Please bake him some cookies because he won't take any kind of payment, and he really just saves our butt when it's snowing and storming, to not have to bag all of our equipment and stack it in the back of a truck, but instead put it in a trailer, saves our butts. So I think there may be some cookie baking happening in here in the very near future. Yeah, John says hit that like button. And you guys know the drill. Go out and do something kind. Leave a like for somebody's video, a nice comment on somebody's video. It all helps the algorithmy thing for all of us, and I know that us smaller channels in particular, we really appreciate that. It keeps us going, you know, to know that we're doing it for not just, I mean, I would do this for my own entertainment, don't get me wrong. I've spent hours with the Optivisor and the blacklight. We never did do the blacklight either, and I'm sorry. We will. I will try that out. If it's cool, I'll share it on the Discord. And if it's real cool, we'll do it again in a future episode. But let me play with that a little, too. Yeah. So hopefully everybody has an awesome day. Hopefully I leave you up on a little bit higher note. We did some cool stuff for science today, and we'll do it again soon. So we're going to sing the song. Everybody ready to sing the song? Yeah, it is Jennifer, Nyston, and Jenny, and everyone's here. You guys are the best. All right, here comes the song. Sing along if you know the song. Pretty rocks out on the prairie. Pretty rocks are everywhere. Pretty rocks for us to look at. Pretty rocks are everywhere. There's a pink one, and a blue one, and a green one, and a yellow one, and they all are very pretty, and they all are everywhere. Thank you guys for watching. We'll do it again soon. Have a great rest of your week. See you.